Hello, beautiful camp owners or wannabe camp owners. If you're like me, you're virtually a one-person business for most of the year. If you run a summer camp, you only have 2 months of actually being in business, in operation. So it's really hard for me to financially justify a 12-month employee when I know that they're only really working a full-time job for 2 months. So I need to rely on tech tools and apps that make me lean, mean, and a working machine. I definitely focus on efficiency and value for money. So that being said, I'm going to share 5 apps that I use that have really helped me out, especially over the last few years as technology's gotten better and better. Hopefully you agree with me. And just to remind you, in a previous video, I said you only have to focus on 3 things to be a successful camp owner. 3 things only. I call it my SOS theory. The first S is for sales. No sales, no camp. It's a very simple equation. The second letter is for operations, right? It's the who, what, how, when, where, why. That is also really easily done using technology. And the third letter is staffing. Staff will make or break your summer camp. It's a people-based business. So I've got a couple of tools to share with you about staffing. One is new to this year, total game changer. Let's get started. Social media. This is under our sales bucket. And social media, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it. I do think you need to do it. You need to have presence online, validate you exist, show photos and testimonials of what people think about you. But I also don't think it's the biggest sales driver. I actually think it can be a really big time suck. It can take a lot of time, money, and effort, and it's also fun. So you might just do it because, like, if you're like me, you love Instagram. But truthfully, because it can be so time consuming and I think you get less return for all the investment, I encourage you to use a smart time saving tool. So many apps out there, they virtually all do the same thing nowadays. It's really a personal preference. I've been using a tool called OneUp since the very beginning. This is a tool that essentially lets me use all of my different accounts. I think I have an intermediate level where I can connect up to 10 accounts, and you have everything from LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. The reason I first came upon OneUp is because they're one of the earlier websites to work with Google Business. And if you watched my earlier videos, your Google Business profile is so critical, and it's so important to put weekly posts through all of those different business profiles that I really just used OneUp for this reason only. Like, you know, the other ones were great and lovely, but if they didn't allow me to use Google My Business post, they weren't the right scheduler for me. I'm pretty sure nowadays virtually all, if not every single one of the social media schedulers allows you to include Google. But just to say, if there's any social media posts to do on a weekly basis minimum, it's those accounts. Okay, so that being said, what I like about this app is I set it and I forget it. I will literally do my post, and it's really easy to create a new post, and you choose all the accounts you want for it. So let's just choose a few, and you just enter your information, add some emojis or links, and it's really easy to then add other elements to it and links. I personally find this to be the easiest app to use. I'm allergic to complicated, and some of the apps that I have tried, they just don't have such a structured, seamless flow. So for me, I like this because I get to do multiple posts all at once. You can repeat a post and reuse the content. So it's really time efficient, and I will have weeks and weeks of content just populated. I walk away, you can repeat post as often as you want. So it's a really big time saver for me. You might want to consider it for your summer camp. Okay, our second app is also sales-based, and this is, it's an app that I definitely have a love-hate relationship with because on one hand, it makes our life easier. On the other hand, I don't think it's the easiest app to use. So I can let you be the decider. This is an app called Activity Messenger. It's not the easiest name to remember. Geez, even here they just have their logo. That's really silly, huh? We call it AM for short, so do they as well. But just to say that we use this for all of our registration forms. So for example, if I go to my forms, you will quickly see we have a one-page form for summer camp, and I can add all my information, and parents get to choose the camp location, the programs, and then the weeks. And then we just go through the whole sign up. So this is one of those forms that is really practical for letting people decide what they want to sign up for. And we're able to streamline 4 camps into one form. One thing I don't like about it is that it really can be really cumbersome on the back end. Way too much work to figure it out. I don't even do it. Like, truthfully, um, you know, these are complicated systems. I don't want to diminish how challenging it must be to create a platform like this. There are easily dozens and dozens of platforms that do what they do. I will say, to their credit, my team member and I have personally looked at least 12, 15, up to I think like 20 different apps, and we've chosen Activity Messenger. We've debated moving to other ones. I still probably would if I found one that was just less mentally taxing to figure out. This, for us, though, is still one of the better ones. So why we like this, as I said, parents sign up online. We also get all that information. We also like it for managing staff. So just to say, for camp recruitment, it is so much easier because I can get all the different applicants signing up, and they tell me where they want to work, what their availability is. It's basically a Google form, and we get all this information about them and their skills and abilities. And then afterwards, once I have their email address, it is really easy to use that email that's already in the system to then send them a contract and an offer that they can then sign the contract. So the good news is once you have people in the database, whether it's a parent or an applicant, right, the staff to work for you, it's much easier to communicate with them. So we mass send weekly emails to all our camp parents through this system, and we will mass send email or contracts or updates to our staff again through the system. So it does have benefits. It's essentially a bulk email update along with the sign up forms. So consider that for your camp. The old days of using Eventbrite are over. You need to have something that's scalable as you get bigger and have more emails to send out. Third app, now we're getting into operations, and this is probably my all-time favorite app because I cannot imagine living without this app. When I was an after-school program, I needed this and I used it extensively. By the way, we're still on the free platform, don't tell them, but it's worth every free penny. And we use it for summer camp. So you may or may not know about Slack. It is pretty popular in the working world, but essentially Slack is like DMing but by channel. So we've created a channel for all of our 4 camp locations. And because we're on the free plan, anything after 3 months is hidden. Not a problem. We only have 2 months of summer camp. We're good. So that being said, we would add all of our team members to every camp location. And we would also have a camp channel for, in our case, we have coders, we have STEMers, our STEM staff. We also have camp coordinators. We have our own private admin channel. And we would then be able to go, even deeper, right? If you're working on the curriculum for Minecraft or Roblox or STEM, you'd have your own channel. And where this came in really, really helpful is also for staff announcements. So we're pretty quiet, but I made a point. Uh, we don't have this many staff right now, 73, but I made a point to say to my staff from 2024, hey, we're hiring. Who wants to come back to work? Right? Oh, hey, your payroll slips are currently available on the um, intranet. Go online and download your payroll stub. So again, for staff management and timely management, you just can't use your phone, right? Using your phone to talk to 16 people isn't going to work. And it's really cumbersome. This is a way to organize all your content, a major time saver. We're still on the free platform. Highly recommend. Okay, now we're talking about staff. And this is the brand new app that we're using this year. Wow. I'm pretty sure this would save me hours. I didn't do the math. I guess I could have. But truthfully, if I compare hiring in 2024 versus 2023, big difference. Because sometimes I do hire other people to help with hiring, but doing it this way with video ask, I could keep it, much more in-house, so less costly, but also it saves me time. So time is also money, whether it's my time or someone else's. Okay, so what is this? How does it work? Essentially, you are able to ask 3 questions suggested for a short video interview. And by video interview, it's a pre-recorded interview. So I have literally recorded a welcome, question 1, 2, and 3. And then I send this link to applicants who have gone through the first 2 stages of our internal interview process. So as an example, how it works, really straightforward, kind of like what I'm doing now. I go and leave my welcome interview. Okay, and when they hit that, they go to question 2, or 1 actually. Okay, so you probably get the idea. It's really straightforward. It's been such a time saver, and I really recommend. We only need it for a couple of months because, again, we are a seasonal business, but it's a time saving initiative because I can tell really quickly when I see their recorded answer, I can tell really quickly if they are able to communicate, if they seem friendly, if they're outgoing, if they're shy. And actually, what's quite surprising is even though it's no more than a 60-second, 1-minute reply allowed for each question, I've had young people who are like literally reading off a script, which I found quite shocking. Which I get it. They're obviously, maybe perfectionists and want to nail it. But when I see and hear someone reading what is probably an AI generated response to why do you want to work with me? Why are you the best candidate? And what are 3 adjectives used to describe you? Those are really simple questions. I'm not asking for anything like really overly grand. If you can't talk about yourself in 3 simple questions, you might not be able to teach at my camp. And if you're a sports camp, for example, this may not be a deal breaker, but I'm an educational camp where I have to have the confidence that you can teach a curriculum every day and have the confidence and the ability to actually present. So the way I look at it, if you don't pass this, and I'd say maybe 60% pass the stage. But if you don't, I've learned the hard way. The people who are 50% and I give the chance and they go to the next round, they very rarely work out. Actually, I don't think they've ever worked out. When I know in my heart after 3 minutes that they're not the right candidate, it's easier to say thank you, no thanks, and to move on. Whenever I've given them a chance, I can tell it just doesn't translate. And I do understand someone said, well, it's hard talking to a screen. That's fair and reasonable, but it's also your chance to rehearse. Like, if anything, you can replay it and rehearse it. highlight people, and I think, did you watch this before you sent it to me? Because it's really bad. Which I know it sounds mean, but it's true. I'm going to say it like I see it. Okay, let's move on to our final, was that five? One, two, three. Yes, our final app. This is also about staff. So this one I don't use as much because I passed it off to my team, who are very capable, but we really had to find ways to streamline staff onboarding. So after they've been hired, how do we train them to get them up to speed? So one of my team members did the research and said Talent LMS is the way to go. And essentially what this is you create courses for different training modules. And here's an example where there's a module about who we are, and there'll be information throughout the module. And they have to watch these videos at their own time, 100% remote, but they watch the videos and then they take the quiz at the end for each module. And I'm trying to show more, but we have a module for about Codezilla, typical day at camp, expectation of staff, management, working with kids, etc. So it's really easy to update this because here's the good news. We were using AI back in 2023. It was a really crappy sales year in 2023. So instead of wasting the year, we weren't busy working at camp. I had staff work on content and curriculum. And what we do is we can actually use PowerPoints. And when you take the PowerPoint and you upload it, it will be translated into audio. Essentially, just AI voiceover. It sounds a bit robotic, but it's gotten better over time. But your PowerPoint is easy to adjust. And when you adjust the PowerPoint, ta-da, so is the audio. So it's a pretty good investment. I'll be honest, we did this in 2023. I don't think it's the most friendly website, but it's partly because I don't use it as much as my team members who lead this. I do think we might look at alternative platforms next year or later, because I think as AI's gotten much better, there's just more opportunity for better platforms out there that we didn't have in 2023. So those are my 5 apps that are time saving, money saving, and sanity saving. Hopefully at least one of them, if not all, help you this year and next. Good luck.